Welcome everyone, Arthur Bablis here, and it's that time again. It's MBX Insights, an interview series, and boy, I've got an exciting conversation I'm going to have today with a beautiful human being, a soul, a gentleman. And boy, the way I met with this individual was just synchronicity, synchronous. Everything happens in life for a reason because it doesn't happen any other way. And we're going to have a wonderful discussion today about consciousness, about energy, about a human experience, and how we, as an energetic spiritual being, what can we focus on to actually live a better quality life and connect with our spirit, connect with our source, and be the person that we were destined to be on this planet. So guys, Arthur Bablis, you know I am. We've been doing this now for the last 27 years in the field of complementary medicine, personal growth and human performance. And we're coming live today. So we're doing another first. Right, I'm going to 2 YouTube accounts, so we want to make sure. So if you're streaming, if you're watching from anywhere, tell us. So we've got Crystal's here from the Philippines, she's on Facebook. Patricia's here, she's from the Philippines, she's on YouTube. So if you're watching from anywhere, let us know so we can see. Tell us hashtag live, and if you catch on the replay, tell us hashtag replay, because we want you to interact. We want you to actually be part of this. We want you to be typing in questions. We want to hear the computer going crazy. Fireworks and go off, but more importantly, we want to hear people typing, because when we hear you typing with questions, you're integrating mind, body, and you are all the awarenesses, all the aha moments that you might get from this conversation, and I'm sure you will get in this conversation, they will be integrated with you within your mind and body in order for you to action those. So guys, let me introduce this person I'm going to have a chat with. And you know, in life when things just happen for a specific reason because they didn't happen any other way, like you bump into people, you know exactly why you need to bump them, and you bump into them, was it synchronicity? So I went to this event 2020, it was March 2020, or March 2020. I was there with my friend Mike, and we went to San Diego as a Brennan Bouchard High Performance Academy Coaching Summit. Like, I thought there was about 3,000 or 4,000 people there, but speaking to this gentleman before, he said there was about 10,000. So imagine 10,000 people there, and you end up sitting right next to the person you need to be sitting. So energetically aligned. And I sat down, I met this wonderful gentleman, we had a chat, and we realized we are aligned, doing the same work in the field of helping people become better quality human beings, connecting to our vibration, our spirit, our frequency, our essence. You know, when we think about the training that we've done, I started 27 years ago, you know, he had done similar work in the field of NLP, in the field of complementary medicine. And he's trained and done work with the pioneers in the field. You're going to hear some names here: Richard Bandler, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. He's worked with them and done work with them. And it's like this person just blew my mind. And we stayed connected during this period of lockdown. And I've been watching the work that this guy does. And I tell you what, he's the master of energetic awareness. He's an energetic healer. He's the energetic healer to the stars. He's in California. I want everyone to put your hands together. Bring on down the one and only Glenn Ackerman. Come on down. Let's get you here, my friend. Glenn Ackerman is in the house. Whoa. Okay. Explosion time, my friend.
Please be seated.
What an introduction, hey? What an entry.
Wow, Arthur, well, that's a magnificent. Great to be with you, my friend.
Now, I'll tell you, we're doing energy work, right? And there's going to be so much stuff going on. I don't need this thing. I'm going to move this. And I've got my lapel mic today because we've got to be moving, getting things happening as we have a conversation. And
we have to see your handsome face here.
And you know what? I also want to express my heart, keep it open to, because I know what we're going to share today, what we're going to talk about is just not even going to blow me away, but it'll blow everyone here that's listening today. So Glenn, again, thank you so much for making time. Well, it's Sunday night at the moment in California?
Yes, it is. Sunday night here.
So it's a holy hour. You're going to share your holy hour with us, right? Reflection hour. And it's
from West Hollywood, California, right at the heart of Hollywood and Beverly Hills.
Well, everyone knows where I am. I'm here in Cronulla Beach in the south of Sydney. So let me show you my beautiful backdrop. Here's Cronulla. It's a beautiful day outside today.
Nice.
Right, see, guys, we've been delivering training and coming to you in these podcasts. This is my studio. We want to make sure that when we come to you, we give you an experience, not just a webinar, but an experience that you remember. We've got music with sound effects, we've got different camera angles, but the most important thing, we bring to you people that are making a huge difference on the planet, people that you're destined to meet, and when you do, have a huge impact on you. So, Glenn, thank you again for being here. Tell me the Glenn Ackerman story, because I don't know where to start. I mean, you've been in this field more than 3 decades. Right?
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
learnt with my mentors, you've learnt with my mentors' mentors. I mentioned names of Richard Bandler, founder of NLP, Tad James, my mentor. You started with him a long time ago, didn't so work. You become an NLP trainer yourself. You've done work and with Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. So tell us, how did you get in the field? What was the turning point or the moment for you to say, you know what, this is an area that I want to learn and grow myself into, explore myself? And then how did you evolve through that to where you are today with the program, the work that you do, and the people that you work with? And then we'll get into that discussion of energy awareness. So, my friend, I'm going to put you on speaker so the whole world can see you. Let's go over to you, Glenn. Tell us the Glenn story.
Thank you, Arthur. And it's a privilege to be with you and to be with your community, to be sharing my story and my experience with you. It started with a very personal matter. Growing up in my household, I watched my mother have all sorts of pains. She had neck pain, she had back pain, she had knee pain. I mean, it's just she was filled with pain. And as you can imagine, people who are in pain, are not nice and pleasant to be around. So we took her, my dad and I and my sister, we took her to every doctor we could find, and doctor after doctor after doctor could find nothing wrong with my mother. And that made her even more pissed off and more angry and more mean. And I thought, okay, maybe there's another answer. And if there is, I want to find it. So I started in high school learning and trying to find out, learning about mind-body medicine, learning about energy, just researching, what to do about that.
Now, when you say high school, I might just put you on the spot there, because when you say high school, was at the time of Greece? Were you there at Rydell High, mate? You're in West Hollywood. You're in the area, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that high school was in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. So that's where I grew up. I'm in LA now, but I grew up in Marin County, just north of San Francisco. So I'm a Bay Area kid, and the story evolved where I went looking and trying to study. I mean, I first started with hypnotherapy, and I started studying with visualization. And this is in high school with Carl Simonton and the latest research, trying to find something that could help my mother. But the situation got, intolerable, and I had to leave.
So we're talking about 80s now. We're talking the 80s, yeah?
Yeah, late 80s, yeah. Late 80s.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm going to leave and make my own way. And what I didn't realize was you can leave the trauma, but the trauma doesn't leave you. And what I noticed in my life was I noticed patterns taking place. I noticed I would be successful in business. I created about 5 different business empires, and they'd go up and they'd go down. And I go, what's up with that? I would find great women to be in love with and have great relationships, and they'd last, and then they'd go away. And there seemed to be some kind of something that was operating beyond my consciousness, or beyond my ability to see it. So I started diving. So I dove into personal development literally at 18, 19 years old, started with personal development. And the Bay Area at the time was the mega center for personal development, transformation, new age, enlightenment. Marin County is famous for that. So I started doing one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I gained a lot of information and I learned a lot. But over time, and I went and sought out, like you did, I sought out the masters of the genre. And at the time, Werner Erhard was the one of the key figures in San Francisco with the S, and later forget what they call it now, Forum, etc. So he was really active here. And then you had the New Age Swami Muktananda. He was another fan. Buckminster Fuller, who taught about science and geodesic domes. He was really happening at the time. And then that was the birth of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that was all the rage at the time. So I sought out the greatest people to study with. And the first guy was Tony Robbins, walking on fire and doing his thing. And then I wanted to know who he studied with. Who was his teacher, and I found that he took and learned from the master Richard Bandler and John Grinder. So I immediately sought those guys out, and surprisingly enough, Bandler took a great liking to me, as that seemed to happen through my whole life. These great teachers, for some reason, saw something in me and decided to make me their apprentice. So, because I'm a musician and Bandler's a musician, we started jamming and jamming. Pretty soon he goes, look, just, come to all my seminars and, come to all my stuff. And so I did the practitioner, master practitioner, and then training, and went through all the biggest names of NLP. And then I got to travel the world with Bandler, doing amazing things. I got great stories to tell you, which we'll go over at some point. And that was great. But what I found was, with each discipline, whether it was NLP or whether it was, then I get into energy healing, and then I studied with shamans and mystics and healers. So, I learned and I grew a little bit with each and every one. But what I was searching for, which was complete transformation, the ability to live at my highest level, at my full potential, that eluded me. And it eluded me all the way up until about 12 years ago, when once again, I built an incredible business, and it went down in the 2007 to a 2009 recession here, the global recession. And then here we go. Here we go again. I don't know if you can relate to seeing patterns and stuff. And I'm going, what the heck's going on? And it was through that experience, that catharsis, that I began to understand energy, real energy, and energy awareness. And that was the missing link that I had been, even though I had done thousands of courses and trainings and books. I'm sure you got I got 1,000 books in my bookshelf, the courses, the seminars, the trainings, you name it. It wasn't until I had a firsthand encounter with higher dimensional energy that I was able to read the energetic patterns that are largely invisible in this world, and be able to see the blueprint for how to navigate successfully this world and have a great life through the concept of being aware and using energy. And that's where I've come from today. So when I realized that, the first thing I did was I used it on myself to heal and clean and clear and cleanse, the past trauma, the past upsets, the history, the baggage that we all come into this world with. And once that was cleared, I used it to be able to create new potentials, new possibilities, and all of the stuff that I had known for decades that I believed that it was possible to eliminate and move through. I actually achieved it. And as a result of that, I started helping people, and especially in the 12-step community, in the recovery community, for free. Just started helping them out and teaching what I've learned. And one thing led to another. And then people would call me and ask if I would coach them, or if I could talk to their friends. and all of a sudden I had this coaching and healing practice, and that spread into the Hollywood community, and many Hollywood celebrities called me out of the clear blue sky and says, "Hey, listen, can you help me with this?" And I'm thinking, sure,
So when was that, Glenn? So when did you start your healing practice in West Hollywood then with the community?
That was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
2 years after I discovered energy awareness training. And then I had an office in the back of my house where I was seeing, I was seeing clients, and it was just referral. I didn't advertise. It's just people telling people. And then one of my, was somebody who called me, who'd heard about me, happened to be a major influencer online. And he says, Glenn, you got to get this work out to the world. You've got to let people know about this. So he guided me into learning about the internet, learning about how to broadcast and how to start a healing and an energy education practice online. And now we're worldwide. We're global. We have students on every major continent, and it's just progressing marvelously.
So tell me, Glenn, because you're like 10 years ago, right? So when you think about the journey that you've been on, that's only a small segment. So for 10, 15 years before that, you're on the journey of your self-discovery. You're helping people. You're learning. But what was it for you that you realized with everything that you've learned, there was a missing piece, that there was something you need to do to actually work from an energetic or vibrational frequency perspective, as opposed to, the mindset stuff is good and you need to get the mind right, I need to work on the body. But, so many people get caught up on the extrinsic stuff, let's hustle, let's create, let's do what we can to achieve the life that we want, but they forget about the person that they need to become along the way. Who are they? They forget about working on, it's the inner work, right? So we got the inner work, the outer work, and the mission work, the bigger picture, right? So what was it for you? Because all of us have, you started this journey with your mum, wanting to help her, but then what happened for you to realize that there was that piece that you discovered your calling and created energy awareness?
Well, it was a restlessness to know that I was here, and I knew my potential was up here. And I don't know if you've experienced that, but so many people have experienced the personal development circus, the merry-go-round of the next book is going to fix the next seminar, the next this, the next that, and it just goes on and on. And I did that for 20 years. Kept looking, well, maybe this is going to fix me, or maybe this is going to make my breakthrough. Maybe this is going to and after you've done 40 or 50 of them, you're like, okay, so what's wrong with this? And what the breakthrough was for me, I'd like to take credit for it, but I think as I was searching for it, it was searching for me. And I had a download of this information. I had a transforming experience where there came a time in my life where all of a sudden I was able to see invisible energy. I was able to recognize the hidden codes of how this world works, and recognize that everything in the physical world is a form of invisible energies. So here we are walking around as physical beings, and we're only about 10% physical and 90% non-physical. So when we have challenges where we're looking for the answers, I was looking for the answers in the physical world, and I was getting some answers, but I wasn't getting where I knew I could be, because I was looking in the wrong place. I wasn't looking in the 90% where every problem is created by its solution. How's that for a mind bender, Arthur?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Every problem is created by a solution. The fact that you have a problem means the solution is already there. You can't have a problem without the solution already being out there in the field of possibilities, in this field of this vibrational soup.
So every problem that came up that people didn't know, what am I going to do about my relationship? What am I going to do about my health? What am I going to do about my business? All the answers that they couldn't find that keep them up at night can be easily found if you're looking in the energetic worlds and you become energetically aware of how the forces work.
And
And this,
that's spot on here. They got to look beyond themselves. We get caught up in the physical, right? Because our problems create this tangible experience of life. All right, and so we look for a tangible answer, but the solution is not a tangible thing. Its solution is a non-tangible. It's the
exactly.
unseen that people don't know is there, but is there, that they need to tap into in order to create something else tangible that they want.
Exactly. So recognizing that this personal development journey was a merry-go-round, and if you look at it, and people ask, well, what's different about you than everybody else? And I say, here's what it is. If you go into the personal development world, even with well-known guys like Brendan or Tony or these type of guys, they're always telling they always teach, and they give you teachings and techniques, but they're all over the place. Remember to do this, remember to do that, I mean, there's 500 things, to learn from these guys. What I've done is I've taken a holistic approach. So when you become energetically aware, everything that you need to know about how to navigate life, how to make the right decisions, how to lift yourself up from where you are to where you want to be, all of that comes as a result of you becoming energetically aware, of you being able to train yourself. And this is what I do. I train people to see hidden energies, to see energies that aren't there. Because here's the thing, Arthur. When we make a decision, we're normally taught to use what? Our logical minds, our rational thinking. That's what we're taught. And yet that works for much of what we do. But there's so much of it that it doesn't work for. I mean, can you relate to making a decision about something? Maybe it's a relationship or a business or something. And in the beginning, it looked great. It made perfect sense. It sounded good. So you figure, okay, let's do that. And it wasn't until you're in the midst of it that it changed. And all of a sudden you go, oh no. And it didn't work out and caused you a lot of pain. And then
Well, I love what you said there, because you also mentioned Buckminster Fuller before, right? And I remember there's a teaching has the law of precession, Glenn, and I know you know this, right? And so you're right, we set a goal, we set an outcome that we want to go from A to B, and in the beginning it makes sense. But what happens at the moment that we set an outcome to go to B, a C is already generated, which is 90 degrees away from where you're at.
That's right. There's another energy.
There's another. That's the law of precession.
Exactly.
And so we need to become aware of that, because is it about getting to B, or is it getting to C, which was your destiny, becoming the person you need to become on the way to get to B? But a lot of people, all they focus on is B, and they beat themselves up.
Here's the thing that I want to convey. All of us have made decisions based upon our logical sequential mind. And we've all made mistakes. So when we go into that, like relationships, for one thing, you get into something that's good in the beginning and it becomes a nightmare, and then you have a breakup, and then you say to yourself, if only I had known then what I know now, I never would have got into this. And I love people who say, I knew it, I knew I shouldn't have gotten involved with that thing or that person. And I say, well, why did you? I don't know. And I say, I'll tell you why. Because you weren't energetically aware. Because you weren't able to train yourself to see the signs of the energies and how they work. And in what I train, Arthur, when you're going to make a decision, I say, put logic aside for a minute. Logic got you to this place, but I want you to test the energies. And I want you to test the energies, because the energies never lie. And healthy energies, high vibration energies, will always reveal themselves in one way or another. And unhealthy energies or dangerous energies will also reveal themselves too. And that's how you can know if you're going to make the right decision about something. And let's face it, folks, making the right decision is the most important thing we can do for our lives, because the quality of our lives are based on the quality of our decisions. So this is one of the major aspects and the benefits of energy awareness training.
Yeah, look, I love what you say, because I mean, we can take this another step further. We can take, the understanding of this, or the way we're looking at this, making the right decision. Depending on, what you learn and the level of your thinking, there's not judgment here. A lot of people place people on judgment, like they got a high level thinking, they've got a lower level thinking. It's just, we're just at different stages on our journey. Isn't that right? There's no right or wrong. You are where you need to be because that's where you're at. I mean, everything happens the way it happens because it didn't happen any other way. That's Peter Crone. But we have to look for the lesson of that, right? So when I say I made a decision.
The question is, how many times do you want to learn the lesson?
Oh, well, yeah, it's spot on. It's spot on. It's spot on. Yeah, but and the reason why we keep on repeating to learn the lesson, because of the questions we ask ourselves of our energy. We're not aware that we attracted that event in the first place for the lesson, and without getting the lesson, we're just going to create it again and again and again because we're not aware of the energy. Once you're aware of the energy and the lesson, you can ask yourselves better questions and say, well, how can I transform this energy? How do I transform this pain? Pain's trapped energy. How do I transform this hurt's trapped energy? Energies isn't made or lost. It's not created or destroyed. It's just transformed. How can I transform this energy into something which serves me at a higher vibration as opposed to one at a lower vibration?
Very good. That's a great explanation of it. Let's go deeper. Let's go
right.
So in energy awareness training, one of the things that I teach is that what is energy? You hear all that. What is energy? Is it new age? Is it, is it for new age people or whatever? In energy awareness training, energy is your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs, your behaviors, and the outcomes that you generate. That's what we're talking about, energy. Now, that's the case here. Here's the big question. Why are so many people unhappy? Why is stress, anxiety, and drug addiction, legal drug addiction, at an all-time high in the Western worlds? Why is it? Because there's a factor that no one's been able to address. And the factor that I reveal is you have to understand the energies and what's affecting you every day. And I identified certain energetic laws that we're all under, that you didn't even know, that you weren't even taught of this. And let's face it, when we're growing up, we are completely emotionally and energetically defenseless. From a little baby to a child, to a child, to an adolescent, to a teenager, we get hit with what I call unhealthy or low vibration energies. And this is the message I'm bringing to the world.
Yeah, and just on that, I love what you say, because yes, we grow up and we're defenseless and we're not taught to support our energetic self, and so that we're actually made even more vulnerable. And the laws that, you may share some of the laws, but we've got a question, and I think you're going to be answering it with what you're talking about. We've got a girl, Natalie, saying, what if you feel the energy, Glenn, but you don't listen and keep repeating the same pattern? So you can feel the energy, but you're not listening.
Well, see, here's the thing. One of the first things that I teach my classes is to identify that out of all the energies there are out in the world, there's only two you have to deal with. One of them is healthy, happy. One of them is dark and unhealthy. I call them high vibration and low vibration energies. And in your awareness training, what you do is you start to be able to read these energies in people, places, and things. So it's not a concept. It's not a belief. It's something that you experience. And the first step that I teach is that high vibration energies like happiness, joy, peace, abundance, blessings, love, happiness. That's a high vibration energy. That's the energy that we were born into. And that energy field, when we're in it, attracts more of the same. Consequently, the low vibration energies, the unhealthy energies, anxiety, worry, stress, darkness, fear, depression, all of that stuff wants to pull you out of high vibration energy. So I'm talking about an energy intelligence that you have to deal with in this world. And I'm one of the only people that I'm aware of that identify these energies not as thoughts, but as actual energies that we have to deal with, that we have to protect ourselves again, and that we have to clean every single day. So when the question was, what was it? How do you identify?
Yeah, well, what if you feel the energy but you don't listen, and so you keep on repeating the thing? So obviously, you're at that vibration where you're actually feeling it, you're experiencing energy. Maybe you see it, you hear it, you feel it, however you interpret it. So you're in tune with the other dimension. But if you're not paying attention to it and you keep on repeating it, so you might be in tune, but you're not receiving the lesson, or you're not interpreting the way you need to.
Well, that's where the awareness comes in, because once you have a firm grounding and experience high vibration and low vibration, and you got a lot of experience in low vibration energy, because it's called suffering. And it's called, as you get more educated, I'm giving you as much as I can here in this little brief of time, but as you become educated and aware of how the energies work, you're going to go, oh, the what feels good is high vibration energy. So if it's a person, place, or thing, and it matches what high vibration energy is, happy, joyous, free, great, that's a high vibration energy. If you're with a person, place, or thing who stresses you, who recedes you, who makes you feel tense, that's a low vibration energy. And that low vibration energy is our number one energy and the most dangerous thing we deal with in our lives, because it has a place inside our thought process, and it seeks to corrupt our thinking, which is why in energy awareness training, I say to you, you can't believe everything you think. And all of your painful thoughts were not yours, were not sourced by you. They were sourced by another intelligence that has an agenda. And that agenda is to try to pull you out or block you from high vibration energy, from being the happiest, joyful, most successful person you can be. And you have to learn how this energy works. Most people don't know, so they fall into the traps that the energy sets every single day. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I had myself unmuted there, muted there. So, and I suppose, as you're saying that, Glenn, is we attract the experiences and we attract the people to give those lessons, right? That might have those dark energies that pull us back. We can be aware of it, but we're being pulled back, and we're putting the thing over and over and over, because maybe we need to work with enhancing our force inside to be able to say no more, stop, that's it, take charge, take control of your own destiny, and say, hey, this is who I am, and create a boundary for yourself.
Yes, but it doesn't come from thought. You have to recognize when you're thinking, you're connected to limitation. When you're thinking, it's like leaving the door open at night. A burglar can get in. So you can't trust the thought process, because remember, we already illustrated your best thinking, got you to be able to do stuff that caused you a lot of suffering. So one of the things that we do, once we identify what the thoughts are, especially the low vibration energy thoughts, I teach a method to be able to clean and clear those thoughts. So just like every day when we go out in the world, our physical bodies get dirty, and we've got to clean them to be presentable. We have an energetic body that you can't see, but it also gets stress, acquires low vibration energy every day. And that has to be cleaned every day also, or else it starts to accumulate. And that's how people start to go downhill. You wonder, gee, so-and-so always seem to be happy, and now they're drinking, or they got this problem, or, you ask homeless people, which I have done, how'd you get here? And they go, I'm an accountant. I was a successful accountant. And I was wife and married and had my house. And then my wife left me, and I started to drink, and one thing led to another, and blah, blah, blah. And what? Fell into the low vibration energy spiral. And that's what the low vibration energy wants to do. There's a part of our thinking process that's a problem creator, that wants to create problems drama that wants to draw us away from our peace, from our happiness, from our success. And if you don't know that it's there, you'll think it's you. So every time you've had a thought that says, I'm not worthy, or I'll never be happy, or my life sucks, or I'm stuck, that's not your thought, because that's not the thought that you would choose if you had a choice. It's
Look, I love what you're saying.
It's this energy that's trying to overtake you.
And I love that, because what you're saying is,
it's you.
Glenn, what you're saying is, and I love this, and this is what I think people need to become aware of, and this is what they need to actually consider learning this stuff and becoming aware of, and how to utilize it to live a better quality life. We are not our thoughts. We are the thinker of our thoughts. So we have to be the observer of the thoughts of that observer. That is an energy.
That's right.
So you got to go beyond the thought.
How do you do that?
Well,
how do you do it?
Yeah, it's a good question.
That's a good question. So you've heard that before, be the observer. But how do you do that? No one knows. You've also heard the term release. You got to let it go. How many times have we heard that?
Yeah.
You got to let that go. You got how do you let it go? What do you do? People don't know. So this is the energetic education we should have had in third grade. People to be aware of the real world that we live in. You know, when we're growing up, what are we taught? You go to school, you're going to get a job. The job's going to last forever. Then you get married. Marriage's going to last forever. And then you start a business. Business is going to last forever. You're going to have kids. They're going to last forever. And then then one day, slap. Life goes, no, it doesn't work that way. No, it comes and it goes. So being energetically aware recognizes that everything in the physical world is a form of energy. You and I are a physical reality that houses where here's the paradox. We are energetic, unlimited beings with full potential, housed in just the opposite, in a physical body that has a beginning, middle, and an end, and is limited in time and space. So when you awaken to, like what happened to me and what happens to my students, when you awaken and go, wait a minute, there's more going on. There's more going on than I thought. I'm just not this bag of bones. I'm an infinite being. And I'm not my thoughts. I have thoughts, but I'm not the thoughts. I'm not my money. I have money challenges, but I'm not the drama. So when you're able to make the distinction, and you can only do that if you're able to reach higher dimensional consciousness, if you're able to leave the third dimension, because this third dimensional reality is the up and downs, baby. It's under the law of duality or polarity. What goes up comes down. What comes in goes out. What feels good feels bad. What works out blows up. You've had that experience.
And people say it's the roller coaster of life, right? You get the ups and the downs.
But there's a higher dimension that is accessible to us all, that's beyond that, where there's only goodness, happiness, joy, blessings, 24/7, 365 days a year. But as I mentioned, there's an energy intelligence. The low vibration energy wants to prevent you from getting there. It wants to prevent you from being in high vibration energy. It can take a beautiful day and slip into your head and give you the thought, it's a beautiful day, but what happens tomorrow? Oh my God, what if there's a recession tomorrow? Oh my God, what if there's a war tomorrow? Oh, ruin your whole day.
Man, I'm just going to stick to the beautiful day out here, man.
Beautiful. Love that.
I want to leave this backdrop here just to create the state.
I love that. That's good for you.
So tell me, Glenn, so this program, and really this program is a result of all your work, everything that you've done over the years.
Yes.
And you put together in a unique way from your learnings and the workings with all these pioneers that we mentioned before, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lee, and Richard Bandler, all the people that you've done the work with. So tell me, there's 8 universal laws.
Dispenza. Never worked with Dispenza. Everybody else.
All
Just
right,
give
all right. I thought we had a chat the other day. You obviously you've gone to see some of his seminars and done some of his work, but you haven't done some work.
I'm
Yeah,
familiar with what he
yeah,
teaches.
yeah, yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
learned from it. And
My
our
bad.
work
That's
is
my
very
bad.
similar. It's all right. Our work is very similar, but I don't want people to think,
Yeah,
off that, oh, I'm just a
yeah.
dispenser clone, because I teach something completely different.
So
And with
tell me then. So you've got these 8 universal laws that they're almost like guidelines for us to be able to become aware of, to go through this journey, to
yeah,
connect to these energies, the 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 light energy and the dark energy, to be aware
yes,
of that and then how to work with them. And so then
yes,
obviously you have a process that you go through that in the education and training. So tell us
yes.
more of that education and that training, and if people wanted to access it or become aware of it, because how do they learn more? And more importantly, I want to know, some people have done it. What has happened in their lives once they've been exposed to your work? Not just the people that you work with in Hollywood, but everyone that's been exposed
Well,
to
I have
because
students around the world.
yeah,
Yeah,
because you got your energetic mastermind, and you go to your Facebook, and you got all these, you put on a video, and you got all these people who are raving about the work that you've done with them and how you've helped them change their lives. So tell us more about that. Tell us more about the program itself. How could someone know more about it or connect
sure.
with you? And then, what are some of the results that someone can expect if they're prepared to do that work?
Well, I just did my inner circle class today, and we have students from all over the world. And today's results were a coach that couldn't make any money now is made a breakthrough and very prosperous. We've taken a woman who suffered from depression for about 25 years and was suicidal because of the death of her husband. Now has suddenly come back to life and is participating in life again. We have uh, post teenagers in their early 20s getting off drugs and addictions to pornography and vaping and harder stuff. I mean, it really runs the gamut. I have marriages that were on the brink of divorce that the therapist that said there was no hope, finally back together, back in love. And the message I would give to people is when I talk to somebody, I say, look, are you into personal development? Yeah. I say, stop that. Stop that, because it's a merry-go-round that never ends. And become energetically aware.
Mm,
Start to learn about how this planet works, because everything, what it comes down to is, I quote Tesla. And I said, if you've been around the personal development merry-go-round, listen to Tesla, who said, if you really want to understand the mysteries of life, not the stuff you already know, but the mysteries, the stuff you don't know, then you have to start looking at these things, these mysteries, as
yeah.
energy, as frequency, as vibration. Everybody's heard that quote. Everybody says that's brilliant. But the next question is, what is that energy?
Mm,
What is that vibration? What is that frequency? And that's where my work comes, because I identify the energy, the frequency, and the vibration in layman's terms. So you don't have to go through the decades of education that I went through and seek out the deepest levels of knowledge from
mm,
shamans or healers or doctors. And, you can skip that and go directly to the treasure and use those things. And it's nothing like you're aware of, because I have a saying, it said, this is not something to think about. You already got all the knowledge that you need. If you've been in personal development for a while, got
yeah.
all the knowledge that you need. But remember this, nothing changes until energy moves. Okay. Your life, you got problems, you got situations, you got challenges. Great. You've been trying to figure it out. You can't figure it out. Trying to figure it out gives you a headache. And more often than that, and then thoughts come, you're never going to figure it out. You're screwed for life. It's what, whoa. No, what we do is we get out of the head, we get out of the thought process and start getting into the body and moving energy and moving out the energies that we recognize as dangerous or low vibration energies. And these energies, there's 3 of them. There's your daily stress and anxiety. There's your regularly occurring, stress and low vitality. And then there's the historical stress and anxiety that you were born with or that you've been dealing with since you were a kid. So there's 3 levels of that. We start you working to clear out your daily stress, your daily anxiety, so you can live every day anxiety free and enjoy. Then we start working on the regular stuff, maybe stuff going on at work or in a relationship. And then for my advanced students, we go after the bedrock. We go after the historical stuff that you came into this planet to deal with. And that's the power of energy awareness training, dealing with that.
And that's how you take care of intergenerational trauma, my friend, right?
Exactly.
Because once you do the work on yourself, you're going to have that rubber band effect is going to go back and clear generations before and generations after you. And you find that people that were connected to you suddenly reconnect. People that you haven't spoken to for such a long time suddenly pop into your life because you know what? They've had the healing along the way simply because you made the decision to stand up and say, take responsibility for the role that you've played in the creation of where you are right now.
You're making a great point. When you start doing this energy work, it has a quantum effect. I've had so many people who got into it who had trouble with the relationship or a boss or a sibling, and they couldn't stand them, so they do the work on themselves, and in a short amount of time, they change. The husband changes, the brother changes, the boss changes from the work they've done, and that's how powerful it has a quantum effect. Because energy, as you mentioned, is unlimited. So this gets into really exciting stuff, Arthur. When you're living in a place of all possibility, no limitations, it's like, wow, what do I want to create next? Where do I want to go next? What do I want to do next? Now that comes after you've cleaned out the blockage. A lot of people have heard about manifestation. Right? I'm sure you have people study it. Well, how do you manifest it? Well, I don't know about you. One of the biggest manifesting books was Think and Grow Rich. And I read that at 18 and I did everything that they said and nothing happened. Okay. Why was that? And why is pretty much 95% of people who try to manifest don't do it? Why? Because there's an energy field inside you saying you can't have it, saying you don't deserve it. And that energy field blocks the high vibration energy from getting it to you. It's like the sunshine. If there's a low cloud effect, if there's fog, there's all the sunshine and blue skies in the world, but it can't penetrate the fog or the clouds.
Yeah.
So why we have so much success in manifesting is we eliminate the blockage. We eliminate the turbulence that's in the way, so you can go direct. And then you're
I love that. I love that.
Power.
Glenn, I love that because I know you'd agree that this field of personal development, the merry-go-round that we've all been on, and it serves a purpose, but you've got to have that awareness is that, okay, now how do I use this information? It's like we got it backwards, right? They preach, taking action, focusing on what you want, and affirmations. Now, they're all good, but that's the last part of the equation and keeping the vibration. They're useless if you haven't done the first couple of steps, which is the clearing the blocks and becoming attached and being, as the Hawaiians say, being pono, being right enough in order for you to actually then focus on connecting to the high vibrations and bringing that in.
Yes, I know that you just completed a Puna retreat. I'm proud of you. You're absolutely glowing. And I'm sure
I'm back again tonight. I'm actually leaving tonight, going back to the Big Island.
Back for another one.
I'm back for another one, actually doing a deep dive. I'm doing a personal breakthrough with my Kumu Matt, who's Tad's son. I learnt with Tad 27 years ago, and I've had the pleasure to reconnect with Matt James, as Dr. Matt James, and do some more work with him. And so I'm actually going to do a personal breakthrough with a small group of people.
To everybody in Arthur's community, Arthur is such a treasure. He is such an example of everything that he teaches. He's the real deal. He has a heart this big, and I love the guy. I just love, that's why I'm here to support him. I want to support his community and all the work that he does, because we're all on a similar wavelength We just call it different things,
Yeah.
and we have different insights about it. So when they're talking about the Hawaiian way of understanding
Yeah.
energy, I've learned the shamanistic way, the Kabbalistic way, the Buddhist way, and we can get together and compare terms.
Mm.
So I'm thrilled about that, and I'm thrilled to be sharing my work with you. And thank you for allowing me to do this. Are there any more questions that have come in?
Well, look, you're answering with the way you're going. You're answering a lot of these questions are going well. So, look, if anyone's got a question, if you're watching from Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, just type a question in there, and we'll see it pop up, and I'll ask Glenn. Maybe you can get a hot seat. And
Boy, this seat's hot, I'm telling you.
Hot seat. But tell, look, obviously they can get a hold of you. GlennAckerman.com is your website. But
That's with two N's. Two N's on Glenn.
Two N's, yeah. Glenn, we got it there. It's in the link in the YouTube. We'll put it in the Facebook and everything else. So Glenn, 2N, GlennAckerman.com. Go along and check out Glenn's work. There you'll find out about the energy awareness training, the inner circle that you have as well too, that people can be part of. But you mentioned all these results that people can experience, and you've worked with, we're not even to mention names, you just work with people who need help.
But they don't want their names mentioned. I've had people come I'm coming here, you got to agree not to tell anybody. Believe me, I'd love to tell you all.
Yeah, but the thing is, it just shows we all go through stuff, right? We all go through stuff. But, it's... You have to be prepared to do this work in order for you to get to the next level of your consciousness, next level of your vibration.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. So I'm just looking to see if anyone's going to put out a question there. We've got links going on everywhere else. So Glenn, if you're to leave us with, say, 3 tips, 3 things to get the ball rolling for people in this world of frequency, vibration, energy, and for them to actually start becoming aware of what's outside, what would they be? How does someone start?
Okay. Let me think about that first. The first thing I would tell people, for anybody who's suffering right now, anybody going through anxiety, stress, depression, anybody who's in what I call a low vibration energy, that is absolutely fixable, and you don't have to stay there much longer. Utilizing energy awareness training, you can take back your power. So many of us are tormented by our thoughts because we think we're our thoughts. I'm just going to give you one example of how I discovered this. Being from San Francisco, I used to drive across the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know if you've ever been across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, been walked across it. It's like
beautiful. So I used to drive across it, and on the Golden Gate Bridge, there's cars going each way on the same level, and there's always a lot of accidents on the bridge. So the only thing that separates the ongoing traffic are these little plastic cones. So one day I'm driving across the bridge, and I'm listening to the voice in my head that says, "Look at that nice view out there. Isn't that wonderful?" I'm going, "Yeah, it's a nice view." And then the voice says, "The car's running really good. That tune-up really helped." I'm going, "Yeah, the tune-up really helped." And they said, "Boy, you're making record time. You're going to be where you're going early." I'm going, "Yeah, traffic's great." And then it said, "Why don't you jump the lane and drive into ongoing traffic?" And I went, "What?" Just like that. It said, "Why don't you jump the lane and drive in the ongoing traffic?" I said, "What? That's suicide doing that." I went, "Whoa, that's not my thought. That's not something I would choose for myself. Where did that thought come from? Where is it? Whoa." And that led me to recognize we're not our thoughts. We have thoughts, but we also have a saboteur inside our head. And the first thing you learn in energy awareness training is to identify that saboteur and to neutralize it. And so anytime you have a thought that doesn't feel good, where you're beating yourself up, or you're putting yourself down, or you're listening to dark things, hey, it's not your thought. And you can learn to disconnect it so that every day you can live in happiness, joy, and peace. That's the first thing I want to tell you. The next thing is love you to be, I want you to be insatiably curious. Don't investigate what I'm saying to you. Your whole life can change when you become energetically aware. I changed my life. I'm changing the lives of thousands of people, hopefully millions one day. And if you're still dealing with stuff from when you were a kid, whatever happened to you in your childhood, according to the latest medicine, it's still there, and it still have an effect on you until you identify it, neutralize it, and clean it. So you're wondering why, Arthur, I share with you, I have medical doctors, psychologists, nurses, medical professionals who are my students. And it fails to blow me away. And when I ask a psychologist, I'll help you, but what are you doing here? And she's well, my relationships are a disaster. And I said, well, do you know why? She goes, absolutely. I've been studying it for 30 years. I know exactly where, when, and how it started, but I don't know how to fix it. Medical doctors come to me that said, I can, the only thing I have to offer my patients is surgery or some kind of drug. And I don't feel good about that. And I got this pain here, and I don't want to go on drugs, and I don't want surgery. Maybe you can help me with it. I said, usually if somebody has some kind of condition emotionally or physically, and they've been to 20 doctors, just like my mom did, and they can't be helped, the doctors have no answer for them, I can usually help them.
Yeah.
Because
Look, I love that, curious being number two, because when you're curious, you're moving forward, you're questioning the thinking. You're not just reading in between the lines, you're reading in between the thoughts. You're thinking in between the thoughts. You're being curious. And you're not saying, hey, I'm not just accepting the way things are, there's something more. So curious, I love it. I love that, Glenn.
Beautiful.
So one, you can change it. You're not your thoughts. Two, stay curious, because that will allow you to progress in life and grow. Number three?
Number three is, I want you to think of the dream life that you've had in your heart since you were young. Whatever it is that you wanted to do, whatever it is that you wanted to be, whatever it is that you wanted to have. And if you examine what that is, it was maybe for some people it's to be a movie star, or maybe for some people it's to meet their dream husband or wife. Whatever it is, what you really wanted is the energy and how that made you feel. And I'm here to tell you, no matter how old you are, you can have that feeling. You can create that reality for yourself. You can create that joy. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. It's available. And I give you my word that anybody who studies with me, that they're able to access that place. I haven't lost one yet. I'm in the thousands. And I challenge people to go after the best life.
I love that number three, because what you're saying is it's not what you think you want, it's the feeling and the energy that thing gives you.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So it's something beyond the tangible that you want. We just have made it tangible in this Western world. But if you're able to become aware of what it is you want, you can realize you can find that in anything, not just that one thing.
Exactly. Just a couple of examples. A lot of guys say, I want to meet my dream girl. I want her to be a supermodel. And that's what would make me happy. I said, really? I said, okay. Well, what if you get the supermodel and she doesn't want to have any affection with you, and she's still seeing her old boyfriend, and she moves in with you and steals your money to keep her drug habit going? Do you still want that supermodel? And he'd say, well, no. I go, I see. So it's not the supermodel then. It's what the supermodel does that makes you feel. Same thing with a guy down a couple of doors down has bought a Ferrari last year. Bought this beautiful Ferrari, and man, he was Mr. Ferrari every time I talked to him, and driving it around, giving everybody in the neighborhood rides. 6 months pass, not so much driving around anymore. A year passes, he sold it. I said, you sold your Ferrari? Why? He goes, been there, done that. I said, oh, so all the joy you thought the Ferrari would give you was an illusion. He goes, yeah. It turned out, I thought it would make my life better, but I had to worry about parking tickets and people scratching my car and people bumping into me. It turned out to be a nightmare. So this is the illusion. We live, and one of the biggest energetic laws I'll share with you, Arthur, is this is the world of illusion. This third dimension reality, some people call it the matrix, is filled with illusion. And everybody can relate to that. How many things have you done or tried or been involved with that you thought they were going to be the thing, or this relationship was going to do it, or this job, or this amount of money was going to, and you got it, and it lasted for a little while, then boom, went away. And now you're off to the next thing. Once you recognize that your purpose here on this planet is energetic, and that all the things that you're doing, your relationships, your job, your mission in life, all of that is the container of the energies. And if the energy is high vibration, you're going to have a happy life. If the energy is low vibration, no matter how much money you get or what mansions you get, you're still going to fail in life because you're not happy and you're not being of service to others. And there's a book out by the guy who just recently died. He was the head of this big media company, and he was worth $9 billion. And he's an example of a post I'm writing called "When a Janitor is More Successful Than a Billionaire," because this billionaire, even though he had $9 billion, everybody that knew him suffered. His wives suffered, his children suffered, the people he worked with, and his behavior was so reprehensible. He'd go to restaurants, and if the steak wasn't perfect, he'd throw the steak at the chef, and they'd say to him, "What are you doing? Why do you treat people so bad?" And he goes, "I'm going to hell. What difference does it make?" And I'm thinking, buddy, all your billions can't bring you energetic satisfaction. And a janitor who makes minimum wage but has a loving family and is kind to people and is of service, he's worth so much more energetically. And when the time comes when we leave here, because we're all here temporarily, we're all here just visiting this planet here. We come, we visit, and then we leave. And then when we leave, we settle accounts. The janitor with love in his heart is going to be worth so much more than a billionaire with hatred, vibration energy.
Glenn, look, I want to thank you so much. We've gone an hour and a bit, and we can go on for another hour, I'm sure. But I want to thank you for giving us your time. Obviously, it's Sunday night from West Hollywood at the moment. So thank you for telling us about your story, energy awareness, and giving those tips. And if anyone wants to reach out to Glenn, obviously you've got his website there, glennackerman.com. The link's on all the different platforms. Reach out to him and find out more about his energy awareness training and his inner circle if you want. And I tell you, you talked about, we're living in the matrix. So let me leave you with a quote, right, from Morpheus to Neo: don't think you are, know you are. Know who you are. You're the flame inside. You're the light. You can create everything you want to create. You are the one energy as long as you can become aware of it and utilize it. And use it good.
I want to give a gift to your people, respect for your work, and anybody who contacts me on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, for the first, I can only do 10, but I will give them a free 15-minute energetic review on any challenge or problem you're going through, and in relationship to what I taught you, and give you some incredible insights. I can only do that for 10 people, but either me or one of my staff would be happy to just be of service to you, just like Arthur's being service to me and to you. I'm so grateful. So I'd be happy to do that. Reach out to me on Messenger personally, or you can go to glennackerman.com and connect to me there. But I'm so thankful and grateful for you having me, Arthur. God bless you. Have a great trip in Hawaii. Can't wait to hear all your posts.
I'll tell you about it, Glenn. So, guys, thank you so much. If you're watching live, if you're going to watch a replay, tell us #replay. Write your questions. We'll be watching this and replying to you. And if you want to reach out to Glenn and thank him, you got his personal profile there. Connect with him online, Messenger, or his website. Glenn, thank you so much. You stay online. I'm going to finish off the stream. Say goodbye to all our viewers, and we'll come back and wrap up together. See you, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you, everyone.